So usage in case scenarios. Now I'm here with the green girl. We're doing a lot of work over here and we're trying to get some things done and knocked out because we want this car driving. It won't be boosted yet. Of course, the Marauder over there has her supercharger, but there's a few fundamentals that I do want to go over about positive displacement blowers versus centrifugal superchargers. So this car is going to be high compression. It's a high compression engine. It's 11.3 to 1. Custom cams, ARP 2000 bolts, the works. I could go into detail, but I'll spare you those details for now anyway. It's going to have a centrifugal supercharger. The cam grinds are custom and they were designed exactly for that. So that's what we're going to do on this motor. A positive displacement blower, in my opinion, while it would make a huge gap of power for the way this engine is going to rev in the RPM band and the way this car is going to be used on the street daily as a vehicle, or at least on the weekends as a fun toy, but it may travel some far distances because we're not raising a trailer queen here. I don't want to deal with the high intake air temperatures and the high stress of the positive displacement blower. I'm not trying to break crank snouts off and all these different types of situations that I've heard about and seen with some of the positive displacement blowers. The airflow at the top is important, and arguably I could go turbo, but I just love the centrifugal supercharger so much. I don't want to deal with the crazy routing of all the exhaust pipes and all that nonsense. So I stuck to my roots here, pun intended. So we're going to stick with the centrifugal supercharger. Now, there's a lot of different things here. Like I said, a positive displacement blower would be phenomenal for a heavier car because you're getting all that lower end torque that you need to move off the line, but you also have to build for your combination. So understand, if I'm going to do the centrifugal supercharger, then I need to have rear end or transmission gear ratios that will match that slightly lesser torque. Since this car is getting a 10R80, not only am I going to have the RPM band of the supercharger, I'm also going to have the lower end because of the first gear in the 10R80 being so amazing. Even if I did a pure 6R80, not a, the 4R200, so to speak, the modded version or 4-gear version of the 10R80, if I put that combination in this car, I'm getting the best of all the worlds that I personally want for my applicational needs. And that's why you have to understand your applicational needs. Are you going to autocross with the car? Are you trying to drag race, street race? Is it a dyno queen? What are you doing here with this vehicle that's going to make this vehicle essential to have the part combination that you're looking for? Since I've got an intake, 6-inch short runners, thanks out there to NEP, or NEP Never Enough Performance, Matt Hayes for the custom intake, bell mouth runners, even has a custom adapter on the top that I sourced from somewhere else. We got that welded on the intake. I'm going to be making RPM. I'm going to want torque. I'm already going to have to be able to make torque easily between the transmission, but I also want it to scream at the top. And that's going to give me all those best of those worlds in this car, and I'm going to have the reliability of a centrifugal supercharger. Like we said, the GT Cobra engine that was put in this car, the GT engine that was put in this Cobra, rather I say, is a original stock miles car. It had like 120,000 miles on it when I put the supercharger on it and first boosted it. I threw it on E85 and we drove that car all the way to 255,000 miles, which if you look in the videos below, you can see that video about that teardown of the engine. And when pulling the engine down, the engine still had life in it. It wasn't blown up or ruined, and I did that pushing 14 pounds of boost into a stock 2-valve NPI motor. And that's, of course, tuning and also the fact that E85 is there as well, but also proving that these superchargers can hold up and the motor can hold up because the environment is not too stressful. Heat creates stress and it creates failure in these engines, or any engine. That's just physics in general. And the positive displacement blower is definitely introducing a lot of heat if it's non-intercooled. In my personal opinion, for a Cobra, if you want to get on the street for specifically a B-headed Cobra, because Kenny Bell doesn't have an intercooled option for these vehicles, I do not suggest running the Kenny Bell 2.1 liter for the B-head Cobra as a street or daily vehicle. While I have managed to do it in the worst heat of South Texas and the worst heat of New Mexico through the desert, 12-hour straight round trips, over and over and over, And while doing proving and testing on the car, daily, weekly, as a proving test under the tune and under the environmental conditions to do logging, to get data. While it can work, the results may vary. And it definitely can put you in a situation where you don't make it, or you have issues. Just as we saw with the Marauder, that supercharger with the Vortec, intercooler and air temperatures look great and amazing. A little bit of issues with temperature in the hot of summer, especially in the South Texas heat. But some things to consider, some things to look at here. At the end of the day, the car is still with a stock thermostat, OEM 197 degree thermostat, and I drive it every day, and I've driven the car as much as 18 hours straight in a single day with the supercharger on it, and on the highway continuously back and forth, whether it be daily commutes to pick up the groceries, to race somebody out there in Mexico, or whatever the situation of the case may be. It's been reliable. Vortec has been reliable. The supercharger is clean. There's no oil leakage. There's no situations or problems. And the engine on every oil sample test, minus the one oil sample test, which there will be a video on that issue, has looked supreme and great. And I've went from anywhere in temperatures from -10 degrees all the way to ambient temperatures of over 120 degrees daily driving the vehicle, and never have a single issue with it at 9-10 pounds of boost at the top. So if you're going to get out there and you're going to choose what supercharger and what combination you want, I just want you to be sure that you understand in your mind what you want to do with the car. What are your power goals? What kind of reliability are you going to need? Is this going to be a daily driver, race only? You just have to consider these things. And when you consider these things, then you can make the choice that's best for you. The Kitty Bell Supercharger is an amazing blower that puts out amazing power and amazing amounts of boost, as we've seen on the 98 Cobra when we first got everything hooked up. We were getting like 17 pounds of boost, a little bit much. We had to tone that down for the obvious reasons. It's an amazing kit, but I don't suggest it for a vehicle that you want to daily drive, specifically on a B-headed Cobra. C-headed Cobras, different situation. We have TVS, we have different companies. Kenny Bell is an amazing company with great support, and they put together a wonderful supercharger kit. But I don't suggest taking a B-head Cobra specifically and running that on the street. With a B-head Cobra, I definitely suggest a centrifugal supercharger. And while we were using a centrifugal supercharger on a 2-valve motor, I feel like the results would be just as great on a B-head Cobra 4-valve engine. So with that said, guys, I do hope that this was some great information and that it could answer some questions. Of course, we need these roundtables more often, and we need more personal experience with it. Of course, we need the knowledge also. So don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, give it the like, and don't forget to click the bell, of course, to get notifications next time the few videos that we are going to make drop. I appreciate all the support, guys, and hey, we made it to over 1,000 subscribers, and I love it. With that said, guys, you all have a great afternoon.